Hey everyone, this is our review of Masmorra, Dungeons of Arcadia by Cool Mini or Not.
Dad, it's not called that anymore. Remember their snazzy new logo, CMON?
Oh yes. Masmorra, Dungeons of Arcadia by CMON. So we got a copy of Masmorra, Dungeons of Arcadia to review. We're going to show you the components, a brief overview of how the game plays, and then give you our thoughts on the game itself. Let's take a look at. Alright, so this is the basic setup for a 2 to 5 player game of Masmorra, Dungeons of Arcadia by CMON. Basically the way it works is each player gets a dashboard with a corresponding mini, and they start out with 6 health points. You get 2 treasure cards and a walk token. You also get these little cheat sheets that kind of tell you the abilities of the minor and major monsters and the bosses. You always start with this one opening room in the dungeon. You have this XP tracker. You've got your treasure deck. You've got your 2 levels of dungeon. You also have your major and minor monster dice and some gold. The way it works is fairly simple. Everybody starts out on the first room. First player gets the first player token. They roll these 6 dice. The 6 dice have 6 different sides on them. You've got a walk icon, you've got a sword, you've got a shield, you've got an elixir, you've got a bow, and you've got magic. Basically, you roll these 6 dice. You get 1 reroll, so I like these dice right there. Oh, that's actually quite a bit of shield. The way it works is on this turn I'm going to trade this shield and this dice in for a shield and 2 swords. Everyone always has this movement token to use, so with this you can flip it over and you'll get 2 movement points. I'm going to activate Valerie. She's going to go into the next room. You can see the doors kind of line up. This is a spawn point, so and it's going to spawn a minor monster. There we go. It's going to spawn a cultist, and the cultist at the start of combat steals 1 potion die if available. If not, it steals 1 potion symbol. I don't have any. I do, however, have 2 swords, which is enough to defeat the 2 defense that she has. And since I also have 2 shields, I do not take the 2 damage that she creates. Now, had I had 2 bows, that would be considered a ranged attack, and she wouldn't have gotten a chance to apply the 2 damage to me at all. You can use bows with your melee attack, but if you have any swords at all, they still get to apply their damage to you. So the cultist is defeated. I get 2 XP for that. I move up 2 on the tracker. And since I don't have any other abilities that I can use, I can then just use these 3 and cash them in for, you always have the option of cashing in unused die for gold. If you get 5 gold, you can buy a treasure card. Every player gets 2 treasure cards at the start. You keep these hidden, and basically they tell you there's usually 2 options on them. Snag, it tells you when to play them, play at any time. Magic swap, play during your turn. Secret quest, save this card for the end of the game, and you gain 1 experience point at the end of the game. So if the game ends and multiple people are at 16, you can play this card and you would get 1 more XP and you would actually win the game. Or if you needed to, you could use this card and discard it and you would get +2 life if you were damaged. So that's one of the things that you have to make a call on. It's whether or not you want to keep these cards or play them sometimes. When you are defeated, so say your health points drop down to 0 while you're attacking monsters, you are then put on your side and you're reset to the base of whatever XP level you were on. So say Valerie was on level, she had 10 XP and she was KO'd, she would reset all the way down to the bottom of her current level. And she would also have to discard her treasure cards. When it's the next person's turn, there is a GM phase. In the GM phase, basically, they get to either move monsters and then spawn monsters. So in this case, there's no monsters to move because there are no monsters on the board, but normally you would get 2 movement points, and you can move a monster 2 spaces or 2 monsters 1 space. But since there is a spawn point on the board, you spawn a new monster there, and that is the cultist. And now it would be the next turn. So we're going to go with August here. August is going to roll. Whoops, we've got to roll this over. This is a portal tile. So August has some elixirs and swords. He doesn't really need a whole lot. He's at full life, so let's try to go a little attack heavy with him, which doesn't really help a whole lot. So now he has all these 2 to work with. He is going to trade these 2 in automatically for a shield and 2 swords. And now he's going to use his free movement that he gets every turn. And he's going to move 1 in there. This is a portal room, so if you use magic, you can teleport anywhere in that dungeon's level. It does have a minor monster. This is a skeleton. Skeleton is immune to damage from bows, and elixirs can be used as a range attack on him instead. With this attack, he's a 2/2, so I have 2 attack right there with him. So that's going to defeat the skeleton, but since it was a melee attack and not a ranged attack, I'm going to take the 2 damage from that. But since I have 1 shield right there, I'm only going to take 1 damage. At this point, I could then take a magic die, place it there, dock it, and teleport to there if I wanted to, and I could defeat this if I wanted to. I have 2 damage right there. It is going to be a melee attack, a sword with that attack. That would take care of the cultist. Get 2 XP, 1, 2. So since I leveled up, I get to move up one of my abilities. Now I get the ability to swap a shield die into 2 shields and a sword. Now I can just, since I didn't use this movement die, I could just exchange it for some gold. So now we come to the end of the round. The first player token moves, and the monsters, of course, spawn. This is a portal, a spawn point. Let's roll for that. It's going to create another skeleton. And basically you keep playing and laying down tiles until you go through this whole stack and you create this big dungeon. There are various types of dungeon rooms. This is a treasure room, so it automatically comes with 1 coin on it. So if you go into this room, say we defeated this monster, we can go into this room, defeat whatever monster's in there. You would then use a magic symbol, take the coin, and open the chest, and you would get treasure. And you also get XP for opening treasure chests. Room right here is a rune room. A rune room are these bigger rooms, and basically they're tougher rooms to defeat. So you would put that right there if you would pull the rune room. And with this one you have 2 minor monsters and a treasure chest and a portal, and basically it's a bigger room that you have to attack different monsters to appear. Once you flip over the next room and it's a trap card, the trap card automatically gets played, and basically it affects any room that's adjacent to it. So if you move into or exit the room with a trap next to it, we're going to take 1 unavoidable damage. There is a way to disarm a trap. Basically you have to use the 2 dice symbols to disarm it, and then that flips it over, and basically it creates like a dead spot in the dungeon. So it's like a wall, so you can't go through that area. You do get XP for disarming a trap, however. That's a good... There are other rooms as well, but that's the majority of the rooms in Masmorra Dungeons of Arcadia. Go through the whole stack, and then you go down into level 2, which gets even harder. You keep going until someone hits 16 XP, and then you finish that round, and whoever has the highest XP wins. Now let's get our final thoughts. So that's the components and a basic rundown on how Masmorra works. Our final thoughts, I'm going to break it down into 3 components. What I think Masmorra does better than Arcadia Quest, what it does about the same, and what it doesn't quite do like Arcadia Quest. So as far as what it does better than Arcadia Quest, for me, the setup time is a lot shorter. The game does take a little less time to play, which is nice about it. What do you think?
I like how you can level up and get new powers and stuff instead of just having using the same things over and over like Arcadia Quest.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I like that as well. You could choose how you wanted to level up your hero depending on how you want to play it.
Like 2 cards. Which one do I want? Such suspense.
Now, the things that Masmorra does about the same as Arcadia Quest. The quality of components on par with Arcadia Quest. The minis are always great, of course. With a CMON product, it's going to have great minis. The player boards and everything is the cardboard tokens and stuff. Yeah, they're nice. They're nice quality.
Because sometimes there are cardboard things that are flimsy and
right.
When you're doing them, they're all bending all over the place. And
there's a couple things that I think that Masmorra doesn't do better than Arcadia Quest. Masmorra is a little more fiddly. Let me think here. How do I want to phrase it? It's a little more fiddly. It's fun to play. It's just not. It doesn't feel as immersive as Arcadia Quest, where you've got a scenario laid out all over, and you're playing, to do certain objectives.
There are a couple things that I don't really like in this game, but
okay, what's that?
There's 2 things. The dice villains, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's the dice villains having miniatures for villains. Of course, when you come from Arcadia Quest and coming over to Masmorra, Arcadia Quest you have miniature villains. You're kind of used to that. So switching back to a dice villain really kind of feels like you're taking a step back. Not really a huge complaint, but it does. You can kind of notice it.
And I sort of don't like the part where one dungeon ahead of you, because then it's basically just if you can look at the things ahead of you, can't you just like if you're in the starting square, can't you be able to see like all around you if there are just like open doors all over? If they're open doors, like
that's a great point. I think knowing the room ahead definitely kind of takes some of the suspense and some of the strategy
if you know
away.
There's a trap there, like.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Why move?
I mean, you trap definitely it gets played as soon as it gets flipped, which is probably the reason why they have you flip over the tile. But knowing that the next room is going to be a treasure room, and you're only going to be fighting one bad guy, and there's not really all that much. It just seemed to kind of take away some of the strategy, because you don't know, especially with like trying to push your luck. You don't know whether or not you should move into that next room, because you don't know if you're going to have enough resources left over from either making your movement, healing, fighting a monster, whether or not you should move into another room because, oh, there's another monster coming up, or oh, there's a treasure chest in that one.
Like, oh, I should move because there's just a treasure chest in that one.
Right.
Like, it sort of takes away the suspense of, should I go into that room? No, there's a trap there. Yeah, I shouldn't move. Like you sort of know what's like one step ahead of you, and I don't really like that.
I think with this game, it would have been a little more strategic, not knowing what the next room was going to be. Yeah. So overall, it's a fun game. It'll hit our table quite a bit. I hope that with CMON they put out the hero packs with cards for Arcadia Quest and Masmorra. So when you buy those hero packs, you can play them in either game. I think that would be a genius move.
Just like the ones in here. They have Arcadia Quest cards.
Exactly. I think that's a smart move on their half as well, that they included cards to play the heroes in Arcadia Quest. So if you're an Arcadia Quest fan, you're definitely going to want to pick this up. I don't know if it's going to replace Arcadia Quest for us, but it definitely is a fun game and worth picking up. I would give it, out of 10, I'd probably give it about...
10 being the worst or 10 being the best?
10 being the best.
Okay.
Out of 10, I would probably give it a 7. What would you give it?
8.
An 8? Okay, that's fine. That's our review of Masmorra, Dungeons of Arcadia by CMON. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. We do all sorts of reviews and unboxing videos. And we also do live streams on Twitch. So feel free to check us out on Twitch as well. That's going to do it for us. I'm Doug.
And I'm Sydney.
And we're Victory Condition Gaming because...
winning shouldn't be the only victory condition when it gets to the table.
That's right. Well, thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you on the next video.
Bye.